archetypes that we look up to. Jesus is a hero archetype, Superman is a hero archetype. Real characters too. I could name 1,000. Rosa Parks, Ronald Reagan, end quote. I can't wrap my head around this.
Well, I'll help you. Put a period after the word Jesus and don't question my faith.
Wow.
There's...
You moron.
Look.
You need to defend your civilization against the onslaught of this cancer of progressivism, liberalism, and globalist brainwashing. This is a life or death situation. No messing around. The prescription is 2 doses of InfoWars taken daily.
You're watching The American Journal with your host, Harrison Smith. Watch live right now at band.video.
You know, this is how you can tell that equity is such a despicable goal to try to achieve. It's always got to be lowest common denominator. I'm just reading this story here, and it's talking about, orphans. Swap orphans for equity, and it's just like, some people are orphaned, and it's very unfair, and it makes their life a whole lot more difficult. So for the sense of equity, we're going to make everyone orphans. It's just like, wow, that's the opposite of what you should try to do. That's despicable. But there you are, and that's progressivism these days. Welcome back, folks. This is The American Journal, Infowars.com, your headquarters of dissent. This rebellious outpost here far beyond enemy lines. We have so much to talk about today. I have really a fantastic collection of videos to show you. I was worried this morning that I would not have enough videos, but I solved that issue and then some. I think we'll start with some funniness, shall we? Because just out of pure, sheer, divine coincidence here, Ping Trip, one of our favorite meme editors, has come out with a video about Dan Crenshaw versus Alex Jones. And it just so happened that I had another Dan Crenshaw video that I wanted to play today. So let's play both of them. We'll go first to clip number 6 here. This is Dan Crenshaw, manly man, being absolutely schooled and humiliated by a little girl asking an innocent question. And as you watch this, just notice the progressive attitude that Dan Crenshaw has, because you can imagine, you'll hear Dan Crenshaw's reaction. Just imagine it was AOC, and look how different the two crowd reactions are. Let's go now to Dan Crenshaw being humiliated, upstaged, and emasculated by a little girl. Let's watch.
Yeah! Who hasn't heard, Crenshaw said, quote, "The most important thing here is that we have important hero archetypes that we look up to. Jesus is a hero archetype, Superman is a hero archetype. Real characters too. I could name 1,000. Rosa Parks, Ronald Reagan, end quote. I can't wrap my head around this.
Well, I'll help you. Put a period after the word Jesus and don't question my faith.
Wow.
There's...
You moron.
Look.
Yeah, you don't talk to a kid like that.
Don't question my faith.
Oh, okay.
You guys can ask questions about all of these things, and I will answer them. But don't question my faith.
I can question your faith if this is what you said.
That's... I mean, you can read the quote again. But nowhere in that quote am I saying Jesus is not real. That's a ridiculous statement. Of course he's the Son of God. Of course he's the Son of God, and of course he's real.
You can say two different things. You can say that on a podcast, and you can say this here.
On the podcast, nobody would have understood it that way. I think you're twisting it that way. Which is not very Christian.
Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon.
It's not. And I'm not going to have my faith questioned. I'm not going to have my faith questioned.
Oh, man. See, this is what happens. And I don't know if it's just, if he's surrounded by yes men, like he takes this attitude, because I guess he's acting like AOC here, right? Because you can imagine the exact same thing happening, right? Like some little girl goes up to AOC and is like, here's a question I have about something you said. And AOC just like, how about you don't question me anymore? And it'll be like, yeah, you tell her, you go, queen, go off, slay, queen. And it's just like, Dan Crenshaw's trying that. That's what he's trying. He expected everybody to cheer after that. Oh, but they didn't, did they? No, because you're talking to a little girl, and your smarmy, bitchy attitude doesn't win over the hearts and minds of regular Americans. It might work with your DC little cronies. It might work on Twitter with your, robotic followers, but it doesn't work in the real world. You don't get to just say something flippant and obnoxious and have everybody cheer you. Unfortunately, you don't have that right. You're not a progressive. Progressives get to do that. Their followers are dumb animals. So you throw fish to the seal and the seals clap. That's what happens with the progressives. That's why they're in the idiocracy mindset, right? We should just always play that idiocracy court scene where it's just like, they say things that don't actually mean anything, but they say it as if they're like proving something, and everybody's just tricked into thinking that they're right. And they're just like, it's stupid. So when Dan Crenshaw, that little girl's asking a very legitimate question where Dan Crenshaw gave an answer to a question and implied, he didn't outright say Jesus is not real, but he said, yeah, things like Jesus and Superman and also real people. And it's like, you get the implication there is that the people listed before you said and real people are not real, therefore Jesus is not real. That was the implication that you made. He could have just said, look, I misspoke, it was a live interview. Obviously, Jesus is very real. But instead he went, how about this? How about you put a period after the word Jesus and don't question my faith? Somebody like, whoa, it's a simple question here. Innocent question. You can just answer it, dude. But he's in the progressive mindset. He's in the DC world where he thinks you're supposed to score pointless points, right? You're supposed to score meaningless points against your political opponents by just acting bitchier than them, and that means you're right. That's the landscape that he thinks is real. It's not real. No. In America, you want politicians that will actually have substantive answers to questions and also don't call their Lord and Savior equivalent to a comic book hero. Okay? Yeah, it's kind of complicated. So let's go now to a wonderful new video by Ping Trip, Alex Jones versus Dan Crenshaw. Let's watch.
The American story is one of true exceptionalism. It's built on the greatest ideas in history. This victory tonight, it's about you. It's about defining those. Sorry, folks. I'll be right back.
You'll never believe this.
Little Crenshaw with his little patch acting tough up there, all waddling around, talking about how tough he is all day. I look at people like Dan Crenshaw, this sack of garbage, and he makes me want to throw up. Tough guy with his eye patch and all the rest of it. And then he sits there, and he sits in Congress, and he's not dead. Crenshaw, you are a loser. You are a disgrace to America. And I have to look at this piece of filth, work trained by Klaus Schwab, crapping on us all day. Ah, God, I'm sick of it. I mean, he's a piece of filth. He's a tough guy. He's a real man. He's a Navy SEAL. And you will burn in hell. You will burn in hell.
Oh, no. What a terrible accident. What a terrible thing to befall the good man, Dan Crenshaw. Really incredible stuff by Ping Trip. Of course, you can follow him on Twitter. It's Ping Trip, but the second I, the I in Trip is number 1. You should go follow him. And, of course, he's been behind a bunch of the great meme edits that have gone on recently. But, Dan Crenshaw is kind of the perfect example of what is wrong with our country right now. I was going to say what's wrong with the Republican Party, but that's really just half of it. But like, if you go back to that first video, who's sitting there at the event listening to Dan Crenshaw talk? It's mostly very old people, right? And this is what I picture when I picture the tricks that are being played on the American people. Is you have a bunch of people who grew up in the greatest generation. They grew up in World War II. They grew up in the Great Depression. They just want things to be back to normal. They have seen their country ripped out from underneath them. They have seen it slowly but surely eaten away from beneath their feet over their lifetimes. And they just want some semblance of normalcy. And they're desperate for somebody that's not just an insane person who's openly trying to rob them to pay for people who despise them, to live off their largesse. Like, that's all they want. They just want to live their lives, and they just want somebody who's a patriot and a good man. And so the establishment, the Republican establishment, gives them Dan Crenshaw, and they're so happy. They're like, here's a man, he's a veteran, he's a good man, he's a Christian, he's a father, he's seems tough. Like, they give them exactly what they want, but behind that facade and behind that mask is gun confiscation and military exploration and adventurism and neocon bullcrap that has been destroying their country from the inside out the entire time. So it's just a complete trick, and I feel nothing but pity for these poor, just patriotic Americans that are desperate for someone to represent them, and instead they're given a mask. They're given an illusion. Who's robbing them meanwhile?
Joshua in Texas. Joshua, you're on the InfoWars War Room. Go ahead.
Right on, man. You guys talk about the New World Order a lot, and my dad was the first to expose it. I have been banned from band.video. First of all, I wrote down that Randall Wilhite, Alex Jones's lawyer, went on record saying that Alex is a showman and just playing a character. Second time I got banned, I said that Mark Randazza is a lawyer for the Church of Satan, and now you're First Amendment lawyer. Next time I got banned is that I proved that you guys sell your products on Amazon, giving Jeff Bezos a cut of your profit. They say you guys have to sign non-disclosure agreements, all the employees. So Alex actually bans your free speech.
1 hour later.
Josh the Troll, you can't get Patriot points on Amazon. Hey, Josh the Troll, I have 5,000 Patriot points. How many do you have, Josh the Troll? Josh the Troll, you need some Gaba Chill. Josh the Troll.